And you shared that with me earlier. So why don't you share with the audience the big announcement for Mind Baseball?
Yeah, so as of we're recording this on Tuesday, as of Monday, May 6th, Mind Baseball is now the official wood bat of Perfect Game. It's been something that we've been working on for close to a year now, and we are just super pumped that, one, they would want to partner with a company like us. It just speaks to the quality of the wood bats that we make, that an organization like them would want to partner and put their name and brand aside our name and brand. And two, it just is going to open up a lot more doors for us in terms of really legitimizing who Mind Baseball is in the eyes of youth players across the country. We're going to be at a ton more events and organizations and showcases and tournaments across the country that we wouldn't have had access to before this agreement. And we're just super pumped to finally be able to announce something that we've been working on for so long.
That's great. All right, welcome back to the Pitch Podcast, where we interview the entrepreneurs and business owners of the baseball world. And today we are joined with the owner of Mind Baseball, Lance O'Brien. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Eric.
Well, I appreciate you joining me, and excited to hear a bit about your business. For those who are just joining us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Follow us on our social platforms, the Baseball Blue Book. We're on Instagram, Twitter, or formerly Twitter, on X. We're on Facebook. And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and follow us and share. But really, the most important part of this program is the opportunity to promote the vendors and the industries in the baseball world. And Lance has got something pretty exciting, bat manufacturer, a lot of great information as far as how he started. So we're super excited about getting to know you, Lance, and get your name out and your company out. So the first thing that we always do is ask you guys to kind of give us your pitch. Tell us a little bit about your business, as you would if you were getting an investor. So the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, again, really thanks for having me on, Eric. I'm Lance from Mind Baseball. Mind Baseball makes the best wood baseball bats in the game. And I know every baseball bat company says that, including a few that have probably been on this same podcast. But the truth is that most baseball bat companies make their bats exactly the same. They source the wood from the same place in the Northeast, prime maple and birch billets. They have the same two-stage finishing process on the bats. They allow the customers to customize and change their bats, the knobs, the handles, the colors, whatever they want on the bats. They offer a very similar 30-day restricted limited warranty on bat breaks. They make the bats and get them to you in about 4 to 6 weeks. And we know all this because we used to make bats under a private label for a lot of big bat companies. And so we know what the criteria is to make a, let's just say, pro MLB grade bat in the industry. So when we came out, we said, all right, we want to start making bats under our own name, Mind Baseball. If we really want to be the best, we have to do things differently, or we're just going to get lost in the crowd. And so we do things completely different. We use a completely different wood than anybody else uses. We use a wood called European beechwood. Independent lab tests have confirmed that it's about 8% harder and more durable than maple and birch are. We do a 6-stage finishing process. That's painting, sanding, and an ultra hard gloss finish on the barrel. We include a soft touch built-in grip on every single one of our premium bats. That one is one of the first things that people notice when they pick up one of our bats because it feels fantastic in the hands. But the main purpose is that it reduces vibrations that you're going to feel from mishits. We offer a 6-month warranty, which is about 3 times longer than anybody else. Very hassle-free. And then we don't allow any customizations because we want you to trust us that we have made the best bats in terms of swing weights and balance points, and we have perfected the models that we have, and any kind of changes are going to affect those swing weights. So trust us that we have the best balance points, and we've done the research, and that allows us to get bats out the door tomorrow, not in 4 to 6 weeks. So if you need a bat for your tournament or showcase coming up, we've got it to you in as soon as tomorrow if you need it. So at Mind Baseball, we truly do make the best wood baseball bats in the game, and we're the only ones that are doing things completely different than anybody else.
That's awesome, Lance. I appreciate that. A lot of baseball bat manufacturers out there. It's quite it's really the move right now. A lot of the small independent bat manufacturers. Customization is one of the things that you had talked about in your opening. Can you share a little bit about the story behind the business? You talked about really being the label behind a lot of other manufacturers, but also the name. So if you could share that story, that'd be great.
Yeah. So in short, we come from the woodworking industry. We do not come from the baseball industry. So the story all starts with woodworking and being wood scientist. Um, my family has been in the woodworking industry for a long time. We've represented some of the largest wood manufacturers across the world, in the United States, in our region. And one of the manufacturers that we represented is the largest woodworking manufacturing facility probably in the world. They are the largest manufacturer of rifle stock, paintbrush handles, basically anything turned out of a piece of wood. And they came up with the idea to make baseball bats in about 2008. And they just said, hey, we're using the same machinery here. We can turn a block of wood into a baseball bat. It's the same machinery that we can use to turn a block of wood into a paintbrush handle. So they did a lot of studies on the type of wood that they were using, found that European beech wood were the best, and they kind of pioneered it in the United States, or at least they tried. They really struggled for about 8 to 10 years there. And they just said, listen, we really don't know anything about baseball, so let's reach out to a couple Americans that we know. We were representing one of their other products, and so they reached out to us and said, do you guys want to sell baseball bats? And we said, well, we know nothing about baseball, but we know a lot about wood, so why not? Baseball sounds fun. Um, so we got started trying to sell their bats, and one of the big mistakes that we made at the beginning was we said, all right, let's forget about you guys making the bats. Let's just make the bats here in the United States. So that's when we got into making private label bats for a lot of companies. And that was what we call mistake money. That was one of our big mistakes getting started, is we tried to say, hey, forget about one of the largest woodworking manufacturing facilities in the world. Let's just try to do this ourselves. And it just was a losing proposition from the beginning. And so when we set out to relaunch Mind Baseball in 2020, that's kind of what we consider now the birth of our real story, is 2020 when we launched Mind Baseball. We make all of our baseball bats in Italy. They're all using European beech wood, and we have our manufacturing partner to thank for the amazing quality that comes out of that facility.
That's really interesting. It takes away a big part of, running a business from a wood bat perspective, right? The manufacturing is handled by the people that know how to do the manufacturing. They've got the equipment, they've got the supply, and now your focus is really distribution, marketing, and getting it out there. Talk a bit about how that from 2020 and moving forward, how you expanded your market, because you had also mentioned that they struggled from 2008 all the way up to 2020 trying to find somebody that wants to do this. I'm sure that there was a times in that transition that you were sitting there thinking, why the heck did we do this? Right. It sounds like a good idea. But there's a whole lot to it, just getting into the baseball industry, a lot of the great people, a lot of nice people, but it's not as easy as what some people might think getting into this industry.
Yeah, the truth is that we, at the beginning, went about it just like every other baseball bat company does. They try to go through, what's a local reseller I can go through? How quickly can I get into a big box sporting goods store? How quickly can I get into MLB? And those were the same mistakes that we made at the beginning. And so when we relaunched the company, we did it with a position of knowing a lot and having learned a lot. And when we relaunched, we said, forget all that. Let's be direct consumer. We want to sell everything directly to you, the person searching us online, going through your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Google, wherever you find us. We want to get a bat to you directly from our facility as quickly as possible. And so that really just changed the entire game for us. We don't focus on let's see who's the biggest name that can swing our bat tomorrow, or let's see how many Dicks or Academies or Shields we can get into. We're strictly a direct consumer business. We've learned a lot from businesses outside of the baseball industry in terms of how we structure our business models, how we are advertising, how we're marketing, how we're turning inventory, the type of people that we hire. It's all about how we get in front of people as quickly as possible. Now we have announced a couple things in the last few weeks that could change, a little bit of that structure. But for the most part, we are always going to be a direct consumer business, and we want to make sure that that's the foundation of our company, because we want to get into as many people's hands as need our bats, and not just the top 0.1% of people that want our bats.
I'd like for you to expand a bit on some of the challenges, right? You said that you kind of made the same mistakes as a lot of the other manufacturers getting into the business. You had mentioned specifically getting it into the hands of a big name player. Some of those mistakes. Can you go into a little bit more detail on the challenges and the setbacks of your business, and how did what did you guys do as a team to make that transition and become really that direct to consumer, focusing on more the amateur level, the little league, and why was that important in setting yourself up to what I'd like to hear about after this answer is some of the agreements and the announcements that you guys have most recently made.
Yeah, and again, Eric, we really do, when we talk about Mind Baseball, we consider our birth 2020 and beyond. Beyond, before that was a lot of mistake things that were happening, when really we were just trying to help out a manufacturing partner launch the product in the U.S. It was more of a joint partnership and agreement than what it is now. And so a lot of those things that we did in the past was just, okay, how can we get as many bats sold as possible? Really, let's focus on just numbers and volume instead of let's be different. Let's sell the best or the best value out there. It was just let's sell as many as possible to MLB players, because those are the guys that obviously everybody wants to get a hand in. Let's get our bats in an MLB game as quickly as possible. Those things are great, but they don't help the million of peoples that are looking out trying to get their baseball bat for a big showcase or tournament coming up. And so when we relaunched in 2020, it was all about let's make the highest quality baseball bat possible, and let's make bats that anybody going to their showcase or tournament can use and really give them more confidence at the plate. And so the challenges that we faced in the last 3 years are very different than the challenges that we faced in a previous iteration of our company. The challenges now are just keeping up with how people buy product. What are the biggest trends now in terms of how people search for product and buy product online? And so those are the challenges that we're trying to face and conquer now. And really the ones that we look more to than whatever was happening before when we were trying to manufacture bats ourselves.
There's a major change in baseball across the board. Innovation is something that is happening daily, weekly, monthly, and also the adaptation of those innovations. What are you guys doing to stay relevant in this rapidly changing market?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, but really we look to a lot of the biggest direct consumer companies in this space. So we don't really mind what's happening in baseball more so than what's happening with big retailers there's companies that pop up every day from $0 and are doing $500 million within 3 or 4 years. So how does a company that is making a basic t-shirt blow up overnight and now they're the biggest apparel company in the world in 3 years? They're obviously doing something different. And so how are people buying product? What are you, the consumer, what are you most interested in seeing? You're probably not so interested in seeing some high production quality video blasted in front of you as an ad like previous generations. Let's make the nicest commercial possible. You guys want to see, what are my peers doing? Who's swinging the bat that I know and can recognize? And not so much maybe an influencer, but just somebody who looks like me. What is some guy that's down the street who's also 14 years old? What is he swinging? And I want to see him talk about the baseball bats. And so it's a lot of getting that message across, testimonials, a lot of user-generated content, some creator-generated content. So we're always looking to see what are the latest trends in terms of what are people responding to. And it's a lot of just being on top of the trend game. Right now we're going to start making a big push into TikTok affiliate sales and how the TikTok shops work. And that's a whole new ballpark for us. It's not something that we've done in the past, but it's the way that people are buying products now. And so these are all things that are constantly changing, constantly evolving, and we just have to be on top of it by doing our homework and making sure that we're listening to the right people.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I'm hearing is you're less you don't think of yourself as much as a bat manufacturer. You think of yourself as a direct to consumer business, right? And staying on ahead of the trends or with the trends as far as how people are buying product, how you're getting the product out to the consumer. That's really important and interesting perspective, right? You're taking a product that is baseball specific, but you're really going at it from a business perspective as far as how the industry is. So your peers may not be other bat manufacturers. Expand a bit about some of the competitors that you have and how you look at the competitive landscape when it comes to being a bat manufacturer, but being in a world that is completely different today than it was, just a few years ago.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, we consider ourselves, our goal is to become the largest baseball brand in the space in the next 10 years. I mean, that's what we want to be. We don't want to be the biggest baseball bat manufacturer. We want to be the biggest baseball brand. And so how do we get our brand out there? It's right now, the pioneer product is baseball bats. That's what we make. But everything that we do, we want to make sure it's first in class, whether it be content that people can latch onto, its products, its apparel, whatever it may be. We want to be first in class in everything that we do. And so really in the industry, there's different categories of baseball bats, but we have what we consider the premium companies, which everybody knows. And then there's kind of everything else. There's a lot of stuff in the middle. So we have our bat line that we believe are better than any premium bat out there, but we also released a $99 bat. That's pro grade wood, comes with a 6-month warranty, and gets to you tomorrow. And that's what we consider the best wood value bat in the game, because nobody can compete with a pro grade bat for $99 with that long of a warranty. And so we try to be in the space, whether it be the absolute premium bat possible, the best of the best for somebody who wants a Ferrari, or we get something into somebody's hands who just is like, hey, I need something at a good price point that I can feel confident with, that uses the same wood that all of our bats use, but it's accessible in price to anybody. And so we've got a lot of different products that we consider best in class, but we're always trying to be either the ultimate premium bat that's just different than anybody else, whether that be a wood bat that you can swing, a training bat that you can use, apparel that we sell, a youth wood bat, or it be something that's the best value that you can find.
That's great. We are with Lance O'Brien, Mind Baseball, and this is the Pitch Podcast. A couple of questions really about the business and really your priority as the business owner. Can you share how you prioritize your tasks and manage your time effectively as a business owner? Building, like I love what you said, you want to be the biggest baseball brand in the industry in the next 10 years. That takes a lot of focus, a lot of moving parts and hats that you need to wear. So kind of talk about your day, your week of the business owner and how you are helping drive this business to where you want it to go.
That's a loaded question right there, Eric. I mean, there's a ton of hats that are being worn by the people here. We're still a relatively small company. We started in 2020 and we're growing rapidly, but everybody here is all hands on deck all the time. You have to do, if you want to work for Mind Baseball, you have to do whatever it takes every single day. And so the hat I wear today and right now is podcaster. I'm going to get off this and be on a call with an organization, and we're going to try to figure out some on-site reselling. And so it's about operations here the next minute. We've got a kid who's shipping bats, and he's going to be doing some sales and marketing for us in the other room while I'm on this podcast. And we've got people that are doing finance, but they also will ship bats if they need to. So whoever is working here, your responsibility is to do whatever it takes. So my day today is just I want to give the business a big overview. I want to guide us in terms of where we're going next, make sure that we're on top of trends, but I'm willing to get my hands dirty every single day and do whatever it needs to take, what it takes to make sure this business continues to grow. And so, when you're a smaller business, it's just about grinding and getting your name out there, ruffling a few feathers if you need to, but it's just about making sure that you do whatever it takes to get your business to survive. And that's where we're at right now. We believe we have an amazing product. We hear it every single day from people, and we just need to get that message out there as much as possible.
Can you share any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs and those looking to start their own business?
Yeah, like I said, grind, baby. Get after it. I mean, you have to have a big vision on what you want. You know, where do you want to be in 10 years? That's your end goal. And just work backwards from there. You know, so our vision is to be $100 million company in 10 years. So what does that look like? What does an organization look like that's $100 million company? Okay, let's work backwards. What does a $10 million company look like organization wise? Okay, let's work backwards. And what does that structure look like? And who are the people that I need to bring in between now and then to help me get to that point? So having a big vision for where you want to be and working backwards will guide you along the way, because it'll make sure that you're in line with where you want to be and striving towards things and not getting distracted by, you know, relatively unnecessary obstacles. Let's just say if you want to become $100 million company, you got to do some things today that are going to get you there, and stop worrying about the little minute details. You know, I always say 80% is 100% is the enemy of 80%. If something's 80% good and well, launch it and then iterate from there, because you can always change it and fix it. But if you're trying to get to 100%, you're never going to get there, and it's going to stop you from being able to figure out exactly what needs to be changed and needs to be corrected moving forward.
That is so true. Lance, I appreciate the opportunity to have you on the Pitch podcast. Last question. I love the name. Where did it come from? Mind Baseball.
Mind Baseball. Yeah. So our manufacturing partner's name is Minelli. They're an Italian company. First four letters of that are MIN. You said that's a great name for a company. MINE, Mind Baseball. One of our slogans is "Mine is better," and we wear that on T-shirts. We put that out there. People look sideways whenever they see that, but yeah, Minelli is our manufacturing partner. They're one of the largest manufacturing partners or companies in the world in the woodworking industry. We wanted to honor them whenever we launch this company.
Love it. Lance, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. Lance O'Brien, Mind Baseball. You can find all of his information in the Baseball Blue Book app under the directory, the vendors directory. We will also have this all across social platforms with contact information. Lance, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Eric.